I was 17 years old back in 1968. At the time, I was working with a troupe of poets, the Uhuru poets, the freedom poets. And sometimes instead of doing my original poetry, I would tell stories. And I started to get more calls to come out as a solo act to do stories than I did to come out to either do my own poetry or to work with the Uhuru poets. And so, at 57, 40 years later, I'm still telling stories. And I haven't written poetry in a long time, but I'm still telling stories. Now, since I've been doing this so long, 40 years, I bumped into a lot of the people that I had seen when they were kids. And one day I'm standing downtown Pittsburgh, getting ready to cross the street, and this young woman walks up to me. She was gorgeous. She looked like a Vogue model. She was just stunning. And she walked up to me and she said, "Hi, do you remember me?" Now I broke a sweat, because I figured, number one, I had my time in my youth where I partied kind of hardy and I was wild as I wanted to be, but I didn't think I had ever been so far out of my mind that I'd forget a woman this beautiful. And I looked at her and I said, "No, baby, I'm sorry, I don't remember you." And she transformed right in front of me. She said, "But I remember you because you told me stories when I was in the second grade." And I said, "Well, gee whiz, sweetheart, you're a lot taller now than you were the last time I saw you." And that happens to me frequently. And that to me is the greatest reward I get for being a teller. That I touch some young person who grows up and remembers that I told them a story. But as a kid, I never would have thought that I would be a storyteller today. There was no, maybe a stand-up comic, because that's the closest that you ever saw of anybody, people like Bill Cosby or Buddy Hackett, especially Hackett, to say, "Let me tell you the story about it." But what we're doing is something, I think, a rebirth of something unique, because we do not only chronicle the times, but we lay out that which we carry in our heart. And so that puts us in a unique and special position, because we can reach out and touch folks in a way that I don't think anybody else can.